think about all the different soaps that we use today. You have soap for doing laundry, for doing dishes. You probably even use different soaps for washing your face, your body, and your hair. Well, in the 18th century, you more likely just used one type of soap for a lot of those different things. And in the 18th century, they thought about being clean in a different way than we do today. Today, we take baths and showers every day to remove dirt and sweat and oil from our body. But in the 18th century, they were actually a little concerned about taking baths too often because they believed that by getting wet, you might catch a cold, literally, and get really sick and maybe even die. So how did they keep themselves clean? The secret to that is doing laundry. Everybody in the 18th century wore a linen undergarment as the first thing they put on, so it was right next to their skin. And you can see my shift, which was worn by women, here peeking out from my sleeve. Now, since they're wearing this directly against their skin, the linen undergarments absorb all the sweat and dirt and oils that your body creates over the course of the day, and it soaks them up. By doing this, it actually keeps all of the other outer clothing that's worn on top of the shift or shirt clean. And then you don't have to wash the more delicate clothes that are worn on top, which might be made of wool or silk, which really can't be put into the laundry process. But linen shirts and shifts are perfect for that. Linen was made from plants like flax or hemp, which had water-resistant superpowers. It even helped the fabric resist rotting when it got wet. So it was perfect for the shirts and shifts, the clothes that were going to get laundered by soaking them and soaping them in water. So 18th century people would shift a dirty linen undergarment for a new clean one, and that was how they kept their bodies clean. During the American Revolution, women known as camp followers participated in the army by cooking, doing laundry, or nursing in order to justify receiving rations from the army. No woman shall draw rations from the continent in his regiment unless they make use of their endeavors to keep their men clean. Doing laundry wasn't just another chore to do for the army. It was a very important and crucial way to help keep the soldiers clean and healthy. Soldiers must be obliged to put on clean linen twice a week, for certain, viz. Sunday and Wednesday. However, washing clothes in the 18th century wasn't as simple as tossing them into a washing machine. It was hard, messy, and even dangerous. Laundresses dealt with harmful wastewater, smelly fumes, and chemicals like lye that could burn your skin. There were also strict rules about where laundry could be done, and if someone washed clothes in the wrong place, they could face harsh penalties. The commanding officer, having observed some women washing in the barracks, which must be prejudicial both to the rooms and the men's health, therefore it is his positive order that the women find some other place to do that dirty work in, the commanding officer being determined to drum out of the corps such as are guilty of so shameful a practice. Wash day was a complex, physical, hands-on, all-day event. Every step required serious effort. First, clothes took a dip in a tub of water mixed with strong chemicals like lye, potassium hydroxide, or even aged urine. Here's the science. When added to water, the chemicals created a basic solution to help dissolve oils, grease, and dirt. This process also helped whiten clothing that became yellow from sweat. Soaking clothes could take hours or even take place overnight. Next, clothes were steeped in hot water with lye soap, which also meant gathering and chopping wood, starting fires, and hauling water to fill the kettle. The water wasn't actually boiling, just hot enough to help the linen release dirt. Stirring with a laundry bat mimics the agitating feature of washing machines today. People gently rubbed soap into clothes to spot treat stains while making sure they didn't damage the fabric. Small amounts of blue indigo dye helped to whiten the fabric. Supplies were precious, so soap and dye were used sparingly. Soap is made with the same components, no matter which century you're in. It's created by mixing faster oils, like pig fat in the 18th century or olive oil, with a chemical called alkali, or lye. When these ingredients heat up and mix together, they react to form soap molecules. Soap molecules have two parts, a hydrophilic, or water-loving head that loves to bond with water, and a hydrophobic, or oil-loving tail that grabs onto grease and dirt. When soap molecules surround oil or dirt, they trap it in little bubbles called micelles that can be washed away with water. Clean clothes, clean dishes, clean hands. Next, it was time to take some frustration out on the laundry. Clothes were laid out on a flat, hard surface and smacked with a laundry bat, also called a beetle, to forcibly squeeze dirt and additional water out of it. Then linens were rinsed and hand-wrung. Finally, clean clothes were hung up to dry or laid out on the grass under the sun to let nature do its work. Did you know that sunlight and grass work together to act as a natural bleach, making whites even whiter? Here's the science. Every color you see comes from tiny parts of molecules called chromophores. They decide what color an object looks by bouncing certain parts of light back to your eyes. For example, a red apple reflects red light, so it looks red to you. But here's the twist. If chromophores lose their ability to bounce light, the object looks white instead. So, to turn yellowish clothes white, people had to mess with those chromophores. The high-energy rays from the sun, called ultraviolet light, can break apart chromophores and erase their color. When dew from the grass evaporates under the sun, it releases oxygen molecules. These molecules help break apart the chromophores even more, removing leftover stains. Making soap and doing laundry were more than just everyday tasks in the 18th century. They were science experiments. From harnessing the cleaning chemical power of lye and fats to the bleaching power of the sun and oxygen, 18th century people used creative methods to keep clean and help themselves stay healthy. Even though they lacked modern conveniences and the processes were more labor-intensive than they are today, they laid the groundwork for many of the things that we still do. Fast forward to the modern day, and the science of getting clean remains the same. Soap still does its magic to break down dirt and oils, and laundry machines mimic the same steps of soaking, beating, and rinsing. Advances in technology have made these steps easier, faster, and more efficient, but doing laundry is still an important part of keeping us clean and healthy.